Hey, Bobby here. So for the last 20 years or so, I've interviewed about, I think, over 300 super successful artists, studio owners, all sorts of people that have found success. And in turn, I've found a bit of success as well by just learning from all these incredible people. And in today's video, I want to share all that amazing knowledge that I learned with you. So today what we're talking about is how to create the perfect environment for success. Now, first things first, this is not an easy answer to answer, so you really should listen to the entire video because there is no one size fits all. Throughout all of these interviews, I've seen people that have come from different backgrounds, different locations, different religions, different beliefs, different economic situations, all sorts. Everything has been different. But one thing I've noticed about all of them is that they all had the proper ingredients for their own personalities to excel. Because not every bad environment is a bad environment for your growth. It might be bad in the beginning, and perhaps that's what motivates you to work so hard to get you out of that situation, or you and your family out of that situation. Bad situations are not always bad. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, you're in a bad situation, so good for you, you're so lucky. You know, a lot of times when I talk with these people, I say, you went through all this bad stuff, but would you wish this on your children as well? If you're saying that these are the things that helped you to succeed, and they would all say no, every single one of them, even though those bad situations was what excelled them to become super successful. I think the real key to this is to think about what do you need as opposed to a one-size-fits-all kind of solution. Because everybody will react to things differently. Are you a person that needs to be encouraged to reach those next levels? Are you a person that needs to be tested so that you could push back to get to those levels? Some people, when you challenge them, they just fall over. And some people, when you help them, they get lazy. So you want to really have some honest talks with yourself and think about, well, what is the perfect environment for me, for my personality? Because there's many, many ways to success. The other key component to this, before I get into the major points about how to create the perfect environment for yourself, is the fact that you can actually change your environment as well. Doing simple things like when I was starting, I didn't have any name for myself or anything, so I started a Subway sketch group. It took me over a year to get it going so that people were coming regularly because, again, I didn't have a name for myself in the beginning, but it did work. And slowly but surely, all of a sudden, I changed my environment. I had all of these other artists to be able to sketch with and encourage me. Okay, so let's get on to the next point here. Now, when I say create the perfect environment for ourselves for success, it doesn't just mean physical space, it also means mental space. And we need to give ourselves space and time to be able to hone our crafts and to get better. Now, many of us have things in our lives that take up our time, totally legitimate things, taking care of kids, taking care of elders, jobs, whatever it might be. But we do all have bits of time, at least, in between things. I want you to notice those things. Notice the small breaks throughout your day. Even 5 minutes, 1 minute is enough time to do a little bit of drawing, to do a little bit of thinking, to help you to improve your craft. Okay, so do not underestimate the tiny little breaks in between things that you have to do. Hopefully from there, as you get better and better, it'll give you more and more reason to be able to create more time for yourself. For example, you start to get a little bit of traction, you start to get a little bit of success, then all of a sudden you can perhaps hire somebody to help you with some of the other things that were taking up your time, allowing you more time to learn, to do, to create, to hone your craft, and to get better and better, and to make more of an income so you can perhaps get even more help. You see this with a lot of YouTubers in the very beginning. They're just doing it themselves, and then before you know it, they get more and more popular and all of a sudden have a team of people doing all sorts of little bits and pieces that they used to do so that they can create even more content and make it even better. The other thing to do is to eliminate distractions and to make the things that you want to do more and more accessible, right? So if you find that some of your distractions is perhaps watching TV, take the remote, put it away somewhere. Every time, put it away somewhere. Don't make it so accessible for you so that you have a few extra seconds to think about it and to think about where you're going to be spending your time. Then make all of your things that you want to do, like for example, if you're an artist like me, put your art supplies close by, your sketchbooks easily accessible, so that when you look around for things to do, you find the right things to do. So eliminate your distractions and make the things that you want to do more accessible. Now the next thing is that even when you can't physically do something, you can still most likely do it in your mind. For example, when you're walking, when you're grocery shopping, something that I do is I might look at something and think, how would I paint this scene? What would I paint first? What would I do second? What would I do third? Work in your mind when you can't actually work physically. There's always things that you can think about, always things that you can practice. Now, the last tip is to surround your environment with amazing people. Always be around people that are excelling, that are doing better than you, that you can learn from. Now, not everybody has access to incredible people, super successful people. Many of these people may not know you at all because maybe you're not at their level just yet. But that doesn't mean that you can't surround yourself anyways with incredible, amazing people. I did those 300 some odd interviews that you can watch for free on schoolism.com because when I started to learn from incredible people that were better than myself, I would start to share it with my friends. And actually one friend told me, you know, the stuff that you've been telling me has been actually helping me a lot. You should put this online. And that's exactly what started me doing all these interviews for anybody to watch. It was in the hopes that their stories that are shared can help other people find their success. So I highly recommend going over to schoolism.com. You don't need to have a subscription or buy anything. You could just sign up for an account and watch all the interviews. Now, if you have the means, I would also highly recommend taking a course on Schoolism, because the whole entire idea about surrounding yourself with amazing people is so that you can learn from them. But if they have a course where they're actually teaching you something, that's one of the fastest ways to fast forward your career, your life, your success. And for those of you that are familiar with Schoolism, I also want to tell you something that you might not know, which is that we offer a lifetime access to Schoolism courses now, not just subscriptions. So you can go there, you can get a subscription, you can buy courses for lifetime access, or you can join a live class and learn from the instructor live over a video call. Now, how I got discovered was at an event. I was at San Diego Comic-Con back in the day when it was more about artists and everything. And I was discovered by somebody working on Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland and brought me onto the project. And I never looked back. Now, since then, Comic-Con, it's still a wonderful place. I love it. But what I recommend is Lightbox Expo. That's the expo that I created with Jim Demonakos because this is an artist-focused event. All about the artists behind our favorite movies, television shows, illustrations, animations. And all the big studios are there as well. It happens in October. Highly recommend it if you can go. The other really great resource are books. It is different when you have a book in your hand and instead of looking at something through a monitor, through your phone, through a computer. When you're able to flip the pages, when you're able to look real close, it's just different. So if you have the means, treat yourself to a book. The other really great thing about books is that when they teach you something, the author literally has thought about every single word that comes out of their mouths that goes onto the page. It's highly edited and precise with exactly what the author wanted you to know. I would also highly recommend getting some actual artwork. It doesn't have to be millions of dollars worth, but some artwork where you admire it, that you are able to look at it much more closely, inspect it. And they don't have to be originals. They could just be prints. Surround yourself with inspiration. Don't worry about clutter. And actually, I have a little beef with Marie Kondo because she made tidying up so appealing and so fun and so soothing and all this stuff. But I feel like clutter is totally fine and perhaps very helpful as long as you can find everything. Fill up your life with things that will inspire you. So if you're ever in a rut, you're not finding yourself in an empty room with nothing to inspire you. That's why I put so many paintings in my room. That's why I have so many things on my shelf. That's why I surround myself with art books and art prints. It's because my craft is art, and anytime I'm in a rut, I'll just take a break, flip through some books, look at some art, and before you know it, I'm inspired again. Or, like I said, if you're able to, join a class. That is always very inspiring as well, because you start to do something that you're not usually used to, or you're doing it in a way that you're not used to as well. Thinking in a different way, doing things in a different way helps to spark evolution in your craft, and generally that will bring more and more success. Now, if you like this video, I highly recommend Creativity Steroids, how to create on a whole nother level, bring out your potential with your creativity, and I'll catch you all next time.